Hey everyone, it's Clint. I started this video once and then I really got off on a tangent, so I'm going to try it again. All right, I think I'm going to call this like Muck, Raking, and Comics, something like that. So I caught myself, I was working, I was listening, decided to turn on YouTube, listen to some videos that were out, maybe a live stream or two, as I was working. And immediately, like, I kind of am drawn to, hey, well, here's some conflict, here's some drama that's happening. And so I click on those videos and I listen to them, and then I start to form opinions. And I'm thinking about all this kind of stuff, and then I realize, hey, I need to make a video for today. What should I do? Immediately, what I want to do is response videos to the drama that's going on. But the problem is that if I see muckraking happening, and just in case you aren't aware of the term, it came up in, I don't know, it was like the 20s, maybe earlier in America, where there were small newspapers that would basically look and find up they'd find dirt that they could come up with. They'd make up dirt. They would just pick the most cynical angle on anything they could, and they would publish it. So it was like tabloid, but it was like worse. There was no holds bar. There was really no accountability for what was the truth and what wasn't. Now, when you're talking on larger scale items like politics or other things, there are going to be enough sources out there to refute what you're saying that ultimately you can find the truth, or you can find at least the parameters of the truth out there. But in like early American life, in early American media, it wasn't always the case, because it would be like, hey, here's a newspaper on so and so's farm, down the street or whatever. These people selling swill milk, they would go through all of these small cases of people that weren't really public figures. Now, I know you can make the argument that if you have a social media account, you're a public figure, but under the law, that's not really how it works. I've been to common law classes in college, not enough to be an expert, but I realize it's a little bit more complicated than that. An awful lot of people have to know and be talking about a person or subject in order for, again, the parameters of the truth to get out. But when you've picked somebody that is perhaps a small publisher or a small creator, or just some random person on Twitter with an opinion to be the subject of muckraking, it's very difficult to have any kind of counter narrative. You're only hearing one perspective, and that perspective is also highly motivated by profit, motivated by views, in order to draw attention to a YouTube channel to hopefully make money. I understand how it works. On the flip side of that, when I started my YouTube channel, I was super interested in talking about politics, talking about comics, and to me, like, Comicsgate was the perfect intersection that I could talk about both. So it made a lot of sense to me. Problem is, this is the trap that I know so many other people sometimes fall into. It's when you want to make a video, you think you should make a video, but you don't have anything to really make a video about. The Mark Wade thing only happens once, and there's like peripheral things around it. But at some point it's like, I can't just keep making videos about that. I'm not upset anymore. No, it doesn't change the fact that it was uncool, but it's just, you kind of move on. It's human nature. And so for this to move counter to that is that YouTube promotes you. It incentivizes you to keep finding more in that vein. And so the incentive is, hey, I'm going to look on Twitter, or I'm going to look on Bleeding Cool. I'm going to find an article, and I'm going to find the most cynical approach that I possibly can, and I'm going to put it out there and slap it together, make a video. It's published, it's live, it has now become truth because it's on the internet. I have a little bit of a different perspective on that, because I have now seen several times cases where people have made videos about me personally, and they'll say things that I I mean, just no are not true. Like even factual details that are, proven false. And I know that that's irritating. It's annoying. It can maybe ruin your day. At worst, it can possibly hurt your business. Most of the time, though, I don't think that's the case. It's just obnoxious. But for the person making those videos or those YouTube channels that thrive off of this stuff, and you're always trying to find the most cynical approach, uh, the trap is that eventually you move from being an advocate for consumers or an advocate for the truth when you see something going wrong, and you move into the realm of muckraking, because that's what people expect of you. You've got to find dirt. You've got to find something. And so you'll make it up if you need to. So, this is why fiction exists, because you can literally make up anything that you want, and it's okay. It's also mutually understood. Nobody is harmed by it, despite what maybe SJWs would have you believe, that fiction is harmful. You can make a fiction out of anything. It can be full of drama. It can be super fun. And you know what? A lot of those are found inside the pages of comic books. Uh, where it gets a little difficult is when it becomes entangled in reality, and it becomes personal insults and muckraking. So, can you have a YouTube channel and talk about comic book news, talk about whatever you want for that matter, and sell a comic book? Yes, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great route to go for selling your book. Do you need to be a muckraker to do that? No, that's not true. I had a conversation with a friend over the weekend who is, I would say, he's kind of in the same stage, give or take, as I am in some of my entrepreneurial endeavors. And we talk about business sometimes. And it's kind of fun to see where he's at with things, and vice versa. And so yeah, he did mention like, oh, so your business model sort of started with you attacking people, and it gin up controversy, and then you'd sell books. It's like, no, I never, wasn't attacking people. I was earnest in my outrage, perhaps. But you see, there's a problem there. If the perception is that that is the business model, you're going to get more and more people following this supposed business model, because you get YouTube views. Now, YouTube views do not equal success in crowdfunding. I could point out some examples, but the point of this video is not to be personal, and to make it a personal thing. That's not how it works. All right. I've said this time again. I've made a video that was actually titled, like, I used drama or something like that. I used outrage to sell comics. And obviously, if you watch the video, it was about the opposite. People took that title very seriously. They didn't bother watching the video. Whole other story. But my point is, that muckraking will inevitably hurt. It'll cannibalize your audience. Eventually, it will cause more problems. And I don't think that it's as beneficial as it is on a very sort of superficial level, from a far away view. That's not really how the business model works. The business model is more like going door to door. You want to talk to as many people as you can. The best way to do that is to make videos. Those videos can be entertaining, informative, whatever else. They can also be drama. But the only thing is, with the drama, if there's a sustainable way to have drama, if it could be a little bit more like professional wrestling, where everyone kind of knows it's a little silly and over the top, but it's not actually hurting anybody, that's great. I've not been able to successfully do that, so I'm going the informative route with my YouTube channel, and I don't get tons of views, but enough people see it that I can pitch my stories often, frequently, get it out there. So I want to sort of gear up my YouTube content and make more content. I'm not saying that I'm not going to pull up a Bleeding Cool article and talk about whatever nonsense is going on. That might happen if I'm feeling it, if I feel like there needs to be something said. But the problem is the trap of, here's something going on. I need to find the most cynical approach to this. in order for people to watch the video. So I'm going to be as as cynical as possible. I'm going to make it personal, because the more personal you are, the more views you get. You're going to get views, but those are not going to necessarily lead to people backing your comic book. It's about a little bit more than that. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. I realize it's a kind of a cryptic video, but there's some things on my mind. Again, I'm going to be ramping up YouTube a bit more here, especially as I've been wrapping up Downcast. We're going to work on fulfillment once we get the books, but I'm really sort of transitioning over, and we're going to be talking about Fatal more. I need to promote Fatal, and I'm working on that as the ball gets passed out of my court for Downcast. So I want to make content. I'm going to do a little bit of exploration. I would ask you all what kind of YouTube content you like best. But the truth is, the numbers speak louder than words. So feel free to let me know in the comments. But I'm going to be trying a few different things out. And I hope you'll let me know. So thanks very much, and I will see you next time.